Happy Friday, everybody. It is Jeannie with Argy, and now that we are in back to school mode, I thought it was the perfect time to talk about college education, the cost of tuition, what it's going to be, and how are we going to pay for it. Let's talk about that projection. And if you haven't had one done lately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's pretty gnarly. For a child born today, the projected cost of a 4-year public university in the United States is about $221,000. Now, people ask us all the time, why is it so much? And what financial planners have to do is when they project the cost, they have to look at the historical inflation rates. So many of us assume that tuition will continue to inflate by 6% a year. Historically, it's actually been about 7.4%. And I wonder, why is tuition inflating at twice the rate of regular inflation? I also start to wonder, as an economist, what the price elasticity of tuition is. So I often tell clients, yes, it's projected to be this, but I can't honestly imagine it actually getting that expensive, because at some point, the demand for college will reduce as the price continues to rise. Now, in economics, we call that price elasticity. The price elasticity basically measures how much the change for a demand, or how much the demand for a product will change based on a price change. So a highly elastic product is one in where once the price goes up just a little bit, you immediately see a decline in demand. Let's just say balloons. Okay, we all like balloons, but we don't have to have balloons. So if the price skyrocketed overnight, we would probably buy less balloons. Now, an inelastic good is one in which a price increase really doesn't have that much of effect on demand. Healthcare, pharmaceuticals, those are all examples of inelastic goods where the price could continue to go up and up, but many people will continue to buy. So I wonder, how inelastic is tuition, and what is creating this inelasticity? How is it possible that tuition has increased nearly 220% since the late 80s, and we haven't really seen that much of a response on the demand side? Well, anytime we pose an economic question like this, there's a million answers. What I want to focus on, though, is the buyer. I want to focus on the student. And let's look at the practices, the student loan practices. Relative to other lending industries, it is incredibly easy to take out student loans. Think about it. A teenager with no income and no assets can literally qualify for hundreds of thousands of dollars through the federal government at a rate that's really not that bad these days. So the whole point of this video, or this rant, if you will, is that it's a circular reference. We can be frustrated at the rising cost of education, but so long as the government is willing and able to, what I'm going to call, provide an unlimited supply of money, then the buyer or the student is totally desensitized to the rising cost of education, which leads to the inelasticity of tuition. And what I'm saying here is, with this government intervention, the invisible hand of the economy or the markets is unable to do its job, because the student does not feel the immediate cost of the rise of tuition. And so we've got a circular problem of rising student debt rates, and then rising tuition, and then increasing student debt, and then increasing tuition. So now that I've made you all feel pretty bad about the projected cost of education of our children, or maybe even yourself down the road, next time I come on here, I want to talk about how we save for that. What is the most common route, but also what are some out-of-the-box ways we can set aside money, or at least assign money to help offset some of these major expenses we're going to face in the future. I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.